Hey, welcome in. This week we've got Bethany Beathard on the show, full-time mom, full-time wife, and full-time outdoors woman. So you're going to want to buckle up, hold on, because we're in for an elk hunt.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
All right, welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and man, all seasons are really opening up right now. And I have to apply. I'm going to go ahead and apologize to our next guest because I read the intro right before and I probably butchered her name. So my bad, Bethany. Bethany Beathard out of my home state of Oklahoma. And I'm glad she's out there because she's holding it down pretty solid out there. Bethany, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. Well, we've got an exciting show because we're going to talk elk hunting. We're going to talk getting into the outdoor industry, a little bit of everything. And Bethany is also a writer, but I'm going to let her tell her story. But this episode is brought to you by Smith & Wesson. Thank you, Smith & Wesson. And Benelli. Man, they make good shotguns, but they're also making good rifles. So I'm just saying they're doing a lot of stuff. All right, Bethany, give us a rundown on who you are.
Oh man, in a nutshell, I'm Bethany Beathard. I am an avid outdoors woman. I'm a military wife, mom of five, homeschooling mom of five, and I kind of do a little bit of everything. Yeah.
How in the heck do you make time for hunting? Like, cause I mean, I know it's tough for me, but I can't imagine
Yeah.
homeschooling 5 kids.
Well, I feel like the outdoors is a lifestyle, and just like going to the gym, you got to make time for it. You got to make
Yeah.
time to go hunting. Sometimes I'm hunting with little feet behind me, and like yesterday, I was in a deer stand up northern Oklahoma with my 10-year-old and trying to get him his first deer. And sometimes I'm solo. Actually, most of the time, I do a lot of solo hunting because
Yeah.
it's hard to get a babysitter with 5 kids and military wife. We live away from family, so my husband watches the kids, and we kind of swap. But
But
yeah.
because your husband's a big outdoorsman too.
Yeah. He hunts. I hunt as a part of like, the love and passion. It's kind of my job too, but he does it just because he loves it. And so, yeah, he hunts too. So, yeah, we just kind of pick up and try to work a schedule out.
And it's awesome that you guys do it as a family. Cause I know because my wife, like, she's like, no, you go do your thing. And so kind of hunting is kind of my thing. And so she just lets me go with the boys. And I'm like, I kind of like it. That I shouldn't say that because now she's going to listen to this and go, oh, he likes it. I'm not going with him. I'm totally going to go with him.
She just
But
needs cool girl hunting friends. That's what it is.
and that is part of it. Like there's a
Yeah.
certain level of community that happens when
Yeah.
you're hunting and that you need. You got a pretty good unit.
Yeah. So actually, when we moved to Oklahoma, I got really involved with the NWTF WEDO program, the Women in the Outdoors. And I met some really amazing friends, and we've just stayed friends through the years. I got my first turkey with one of my friends. She was 6 months pregnant on a 3,000 West Oklahoma ranch that we were on. It was wild.
Okay.
Yes. And then
Because I remember you telling me this story because she was like belly crawling, like to shoot
yes,
this
like on her
bird.
side.
Yeah, on her
Yes,
side,
and
the side
we
crawl.
doubled down. We both got one same
That's
time. It was
crazy.
crazy. Waterfowl hunting, deer hunting. Yeah, but I have good friends, and we all do. We're all moms, and so we can
See,
relate to each other on it.
you're building a good community, and I mean
Yeah.
that's just awesome. So what's the toughest balance? Is it balancing schoolwork? Is it balancing just trying to find a babysitter schedules? Like how do you manage that? Because hunting seasons are only so long. I mean, you get a break, around in December if you've already tagged out and you're not doing special holiday seasons. But what's the toughest thing to do?
Well, the schoolwork actually isn't that hard. I use a program where my kids actually watch recorded lectures. So I'm kind of a facilitator. I grade
Okay.
everything, answer, read alouds, things like that. But so the schoolwork's not that hard, and we're really flexible because I don't have to work around parent teacher conferences. I
Right.
set the schedule.
Yeah.
It's really babysitter and then extracurricular activities, kind of finding that time. If I'm going on a hunt with friends, that's like another coordination of time.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you just gotta get it and drive from at 2:45 in the morning, 3 hours,
I
and
I
got a
have been
day.
there many times.
Yeah.
But those road trips though, I mean, they always end up being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So okay, so I got to give a little context. How Bethany and I met, we met at a POMA conference, which is Professional Outdoor Media Association, and she was there.
Yeah.
It was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or I guess that would be Broken Arrow, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
is where it was at. But I kind of got to talking with her. I'm like, man, she's really in the outdoors. And then I found out she's from Oklahoma. So I'm like, oh man, like she's a real deal. But that's how we met. And then we kind of started talking, and you're going to start producing some content for Gun Talk, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Starting writing some articles. How'd you first get into the outdoor industry? Because I think that's one of the biggest questions for me is they're like, how do you turn what you're passionate about into your career? And you've kind of
Yeah.
started to marry the two very well.
Yeah. So I actually just started sharing my life, and the outdoors is a part of that. We had a deer lease down in Georgia, and we were redoing this old 90 camper that was going to go on the land. So I started showing that, filling feeders, taking my kids out there, hunting hogs with them. We ran a lot of dogs out there, and and people started liking it, and I was like, I really would love this to be what I do. So
Mhm.
I just started sharing more. You do a lot for free. I think a lot of people don't realize that when they're getting into the industry,
Yeah.
that you're going to do a lot for free. But you just get to a point where you can't do something for nothing. But yeah, so I started writing a little bit for a woman's group called Real Camo Girl for their
Hmm.
blog, and just like little articles here and there, tips that I had learned, kind of like tips for moms. How am I getting out there? How do I get out there with my kids? And so, yeah, I just started sharing, and I wrote an article up, and
Yeah.
the lady was like, "Hey, this is too good. You need to write." And so I started pitching,
You're like,
and
okay. So
Honey
what
Life kind of put me out there.
I'm totally going to put you on the spot because you mentioned it. What would you say to a mom who's looking to get her kids outdoors? What are the three, like what are three tips that you would give? What would your top three tips be?
Okay.
I told you I was going to put you on
One,
the
you got
spot.
to make it fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to make it fun. You got to make it, it's a way of life. This is how we feed our family, fill to table, kind of like that full circle. People used to do this all the time. This wouldn't be like a thing if we were talking like, 100 years ago. Everybody was out there, so
Right.
my kids are really traditional, kind of that approach to get them out there in all types of weather. You don't want the first time they ever sat in the hunting blind is the day that they're going to kill the deer or whatever. Like my kids we hike all year
Yeah.
round, get them familiar. And I kind of gauge my kids. So my oldest, he has autism. He's really high functioning, but he would rather just be involved with the prep. He wants to set cameras. He wants
Okay.
to, so kind of reading my kids. My 10-year-old, I'm going to release him into the wild. He's going to be a mountain man,
Yeah.
he loves it. And then, as my girls are coming up, I have one that would really rather like waterfowl, like she'd rather birds, kind of walk around, like that action fun. I've had one that sat with me in the rain and we didn't get anything, but
That's your
so like just
warrior.
kind of see what my kids like. Yeah. And just kind of
Yeah.
see what they like and go with that passion, So, yeah. And then, you know, a big thing for me is taking them out and let them see the wildlife. And so we do a lot of blacktop scouting. They all have their own little
Yeah.
binoculars, looking, and then they're like, oh, and learning about it, biology. And so, yeah, just kind of immerse them in that. And not everybody's going to be a hunter, but at least you can say you pass that skill
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true and a guy had told me the other day, he's like, the seeds you plant today, yeah, they're going to have to go through a lot of dirt to sprout into big plants, but man, they may not take now, but with just a little bit of coercion, a little bit of love and care and just time, those seeds will turn into beautiful plants. And that's one of the phrases that kind of has stuck with me here lately. And yeah, they may not like pick it up now, but like stay with it. Like don't discount it. They're going to remember those times with you in the field and they're going to
Oh, yeah.
go, man, and then when they have kids, maybe it's down the road when they have kids and then they're like, I want to pass that along. So that's good advice. Like
Yeah.
I think you covered a little bit more than 3 tips, but they were all solid.
It's all together, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good. And, fishing too. And, they just get them out there. They love it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny because I'll take my boys out, and one of the things they like a mid-morning break, and I know that, and I'm like, okay, we'll just plan for it. So we take a mid-morning break, and they go look for bottles in like this field, and that's like their favorite thing to do. And
Yeah.
snacks, snacks is
Lots of
key.
snacks.
Like
You have to have
lots of
so many
snacks.
of them.
Well, the snacks are probably more for me. Like that's
Yeah.
just kind of how
I could
it
see that. Yeah.
is. All right, we're going to jump in here with a real quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. All right, Smith & Wesson, smith-wesson.com. Wonderful folks over there, and they make some great guns. I think you'll like them. And one of my favorite, which I do own one of these, I've kind of dolled it up just a little bit, is an M&P 10 Sport. It's optics ready, but it's a 308, and it hums along out there. I love it. You guys will not be disappointed on it, but it's part of their sports series, and it comes with a 20-round magazine. It's optics ready, thumb safety. So right now, the overall length is 34 inches. The height is 8 inches. The width's 2.8 inches. Exactly what you would think from a 308 AR-10 platform. But it's a sling swivel gas block with Picatinny style rail. So everything you need to take out in the field, get ready to go. This is a great stand gun because it's super accurate. Smith-Wesson.com. And Benelli Lupo. If you're looking for your next hunting gun, I would highly recommend the Lupo because 1, it's accurate. 2, man, it looks great out in the field. And we all know that's about 90% of the game right there is just looking good. It comes in Optifade and some other different colors that you might be interested. But I'm going to save those because you're going to want to go look at it. It screams elegance and Italian design. The sucker looks like a finely tuned sports car. I'm telling you, just beautiful. But find out more at BenelliUSA.com. Okay, we're back with Bethany Beathard. And okay, you are in Oklahoma and you're doing one of the things that I always like dreamed I would do in Oklahoma. And it's hunting elk in the Wichita Mountains. And I'm not gonna I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but it's a draw hunt. Okay, it's a draw hunt and it's a once in a lifetime tag. I think I am 17 years into this draw process. No more than that. My gosh, it might be closer to 20. I think it's closer to 20. Yeah. Yeah. I might be an old man before I draw, and you have been lucky enough to draw on it's a separate draw. Is that correct?
It is separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is separate. So the Wichita Mountains are kind of split in half. Half of it is the refuge and half of it is a military installation. And the military installation has their own sportsman program, their own wildlife biologists, their own wardens. It's their own system. And so it's open up. This is kind of outside of that. Most military installations have hunting on them. Because of the so coveted draw in the refuge, the eligibility to be able to hunt on Fort Sill is really strict. And so they don't allow civilians like some other places would and stuff. So yeah, it used to be in person. Now it's electronic / in person. So you put in for it electronically, you get a email telling you whether or not you got drawn, and then you got to go up there. And in the order that you got drawn, they call you up in order, and then you get to pick your zone selection. Now they've already said these are how many bulls are going to be, harvested from this area. And then they break it down even more into zones. And then the zone, there'll be on like 1 bull tag for 3 cow tags. And so you're also in there with other hunters. So it's like public land. And then, so I was good enough that I got the only bull tag the first time I went. Well, now I'm in a zone with 3 other bull hunters tomorrow.
Woo,
so
woo.
it's kind of like not that easy, but yeah.
But I mean, it's about getting out there. It's about learning it. So what tactics, because when you went before you tell a little bit about that story and maybe a couple lessons learned, because you got to be patient in a hunt like this. This is a 1-day hunt. Like literally
It's 1 day.
one day to get it done. And you
Yeah.
were a little bit familiar with the area. So,
Yes. So like I said, we do a lot of blacktop scouting. All the zones are pretty much broken up by the roads, besides
mhm,
some of the big mountainous ones. So for me as a woman, I like to be familiar with the area that I'm hunting. That's like comfort and
yeah,
familiarity. And so I like to scout heavily places that I know. So I go a lot in the off season, kind of see where they're at, going around. There's no cameras prohibited, no baiting, none of that. So you really are having to get boots on the ground.
that's
We
it.
hike with our kids in the spring. We look at bedding areas. We do a lot of this type of stuff, pick up trash and things like that while we do it and look for signs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did harvest a cow 2 years ago solo, and this was in the rifle season. So they also break it up. Right now I'm in archery,
Hmm.
but I will have another chance to harvest in the gun draw, which is done the same in December. So
Oh my gosh. Like that would be amazing.
so I harvested in gun season. I harvested a cow,
Yeah.
and I went out that morning. I watched two shooter bulls within 60 yards. I got video of them graze across. But kind of different than Rocky Mountains. These Wichita, like they're broken up into little herds, and they're kind of creatures of habits as far as like the zone. And that's really the boots to the ground moment, is getting out there, seeing where they're going in and bedding out, and then most likely just trying to be there to intercept them.
Right.
If they're going to come out the same way. So, playing with the wind a lot. Another thing that's they don't talk about, but troops in the area. Whenever I hunted, there was troops in the area, which they were down in the lower zone.
Right.
So that could either make or break a hunt. And it just worked out for me at the time. But there's a lot of human activity too. So then you're like, oh, this is a great zone, but they just had a field up 2 days ago, and all that human sense through there.
Yeah.
Now it's not a great zone anymore because it pushed him out for a while. So it's a mind game, really, trying to pick what zone you're going to. But
Yeah.
I learned just um, being prepared, trust your gut, stick to a plan, be calm, because I watched her come out and waited. She walked, there was like a couple of them, walked all the way to a pond, drank. While their backs were to me, skidding down the mountain to get like to a flat spot. And yeah, took the shot and got her right there. And thankfully, it was right next to an old military access road. And we pulled the truck
Oh,
right up to it, and it was great.
that's
So,
perfect. That's the best way to shoot them right there.
yeah,
Forget all this. Like,
279 pounds. She was huge.
ooh, geez.
She was huge. Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, there's so many questions I've got. So, what are you hunting crossbow or are you hunting vertical bow?
I'm using my crossbow right now. I've been
Yeah.
practicing. I ripped my rotator cuff in half, like, I think it was like 15 years ago now. And so I'm kind of trying to rehabilitate that. I'm
Yeah.
deer hunting with my compound bow, but my poundage isn't up enough for me to feel confident to go
Yeah.
after a big bull in it. So I'm crossbow right now.
Ooh,
But
what
yeah,
crossbow? What crossbow you shooting?
10 points.
A
It's
10
a
point?
reverse limb. Yeah. Yeah.
Man,
I've had many
they're
kills with it, so I feel pretty confident.
yeah. I mean, you can only practice so much with those crossbows because like we had uh Raven crossbows on last week, Adam Gansky, and what they're doing with crossbows nowadays is absolutely ridiculous because
It's crazy.
I think, and I know, like my temptation would be to take my vertical bow, but on a 1 day hunt, you really have to take into account, man, you may not be able to close that last like 20 yards that you may need
Yeah.
for that shot with a compound bow, with a regular vertical bow. So to me, shooting a crossbow on a 1 day hunt, that would make all the difference in the world for me.
Yeah. 1 day. And also tactics have changed because on Sunday we had a south wind. Now I have a north wind. And
Yeah.
so, just and now the zone that I'm in, it's actually better that it's a north wind. And
Hmm.
so like where you're an approach, you're studying the map a lot, and yeah, so I'm
So
happy with it. I'm comfortable.
how
And
many acres is typically to a zone, roughly?
I don't know. Well, Fort Sill in general, I think the hunting compartment, like artillery site, is 92,000 acres. So it's
Okay,
huge, huge, huge.
gotcha. And
I mean, it's pretty decent. I mean, we walked 5 miles and I didn't even get to the bottom of the zone that I was in on Sunday.
okay, oh gosh, that's
So
a lot. Okay, so it's not
Yeah.
like you've got, all right, I've got 360 acres to work with here. Let's see if
No,
something crosses.
it's a pretty good, yeah. And like you'll have, and all the zones are different. So the big mountain, if you're familiar with the area across from
Hmm.
Mount Scott, you'll see that's one huge zone. And then, but they'll allow more hunters in there. So now there, if I was in a smaller zone, they're only gonna put maybe 3 hunters in. So those big zones get like 7 or 8 hunters
Right.
in them, you know. So it
Okay.
just depends.
So do
Yeah.
they drop you off? Like, because I know there's a lot of hunts in Oklahoma where, like, if you get like draw out for like an elk hunt in the Wichita's, like you can, one of the options is like they will drop you in your zone, in the morning, and then they pick you up at night. Is it kind of, do they kind of run what of a similar pattern?
No, they have a check-in and check-out system that's
Mhm.
electronic. So once you get into the zone, you check in, and a lot of that's just accountability for the ranges. Um, they'll still have live firing. Whenever I harvested my elk 2 years ago, they were artillery was booming at the same time, you know.
No
So
kidding.
yeah, you're not in like those like areas, but yeah, but it's a check-in and check-out system. If you go past like the checkout time because you
Hmm.
harvested it and you're trying to like either pack it out or whatever, you have to then check in as recovery. And they
Okay.
allow that so that they know for accountability purposes. But no,
Right.
they don't make you check in and out. No.
Dang,
Or I mean,
that's
they don't drop you off.
they don't drop you off. That's crazy. Because one of the areas that I hunt in is it's really cool because like either on like it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type schedule. If you're hunting on Friday, like you'll have like about every 30 or 40 minutes, you'll have two big C-10 planes flying real low and they're dropping stuff. So they drop in a drop ground, a drop zone. And I've seen them drop jeeps and just to be around stuff like that while you're hunting, and you're I mean you're getting two shows. You're getting watching deer, and then you're getting to see
Yeah.
how they operate, normal day in day out. That's cool. But I don't know about the artillery firing. That would, man, that would,
I
I mean,
wasn't as I'm not close to it, but like the thing about it is elk actually like to be in the fire zone. Like they graze in there because it's just like nobody goes in there. So
right.
a lot of times it's trying to catch them coming out of that. But yeah, it's different. It is definitely
This
different
is
being on post, and it's
this
just
is
a different.
not
It's another element.
This is not hunting elk on a mountain in Colorado or Idaho or Montana. This is not that. Like this is so anything I think I know about hunting elk like is off, it's out of the off the charts. So are you calling a lot?
So I think there's enough youngsters that are bugling out there. So I usually take a cow call with me. I
Okay.
take two, like a mature one and a young one. I've called the cow into 20 yards before. I have video of it. And so I'll do it. But right now, because of the heat, that's another thing. It's always a learning experience because I drew on Sunday. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of pushing how the rut is going. You know, some bulls
Right.
are really rutting and some of them are just kind of like whatever, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but a lot of people have said this is not how it normally is. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're just saying
That's
that, but
that's
it's
that's accurate.
interesting.
Everything you described, like I mean, the human scent element and the human, traffic it throws them off, and then you're right, they get comfortable in locations like this because they do the same thing at the McAllister Army Ammunition Plant hunt, which if you're out there and you're listening, that hunt is amazing. Like the white hats do a great job out there. I love all those guys. Uh, Bethany, I don't know if you've ever done that hunt or if you have an interest in traditional archery hunting. That hunt is unbelievable.
Wow, I'll have to look into it.
Have you not heard of it?
No, I know.
What?
McAllister? That's like
Yes.
okay. Yeah. I have
Okay.
family from there. Yeah.
Yes. So it's absolutely amazing. And like it's the same thing. Like it's only like you get a couple of days. You get one day to scout and then you have 2 days to hunt. Which so you scout on Friday, hunt Saturday, Sunday, and then that's it. So
Hmm.
and like man, I'm talking giant whitetails. They have like legit, and it's all low fence, but it's legit like you could, I mean, I know a guy who's killed a 180 out there. Like so And if you kill like a doe, you get the same spot next year already reserved for you. If you kill a hog, you get the same. So you basically get to reserve your spot for next year. You're automatically
Wow.
drawn. It's really cool. Like and I'm telling you,
Yeah, I'll have to look into that for sure.
it is like it's a legit low fence trophy hunt. Like they have a hit list every year. They like put out a hit list of bucks that they go out and they shoot photos of them and everything before season. It's just you got to go
Yeah, I
check
know
it out.
there's some big ones over there. I know a lot of people that hunt the public lands down there too, and
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
crazy.
they're massive. And why not try it? Like I'm
Yeah,
not going to tell you like all the details of it because you can go research your own. But I'm telling you that hunt is absolutely incredible.
yeah,
Well,
I'll have to look into that.
I am super jealous of you because like one of these, when I'm 74 years old, I'll probably draw for an Oklahoma elk tag. Because I mean, I've had a buddy who has gone out there. He harvested an elk. I helped him drag it out, every ounce of him. Um, but I'm super jealous. You have to tell me how you do.
I will. I will. No, I'm super excited. I know for sure, like, a lot of people, there's a lot, I mean, a lot of active duty hunt, there's not that many spouses. There's really like I see some, but it's a lot of active duty, a lot of retirees.
Yeah.
And I was actually surprised to see a lot of women out there this time, more than the first time that I was out
Oh, that's
there.
awesome.
So that's good. Yeah. And because the first time when I went gun, that you couldn't take a hunting partner during
Right.
gun season. And so
Okay.
a lot of women statistically don't hunt alone. And so it's nice to see like women out there doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially out and on a hunt like that. I mean, you may not get that chance again. I mean,
No.
that's
And
just
it's a lot of
incredible.
work. It's so,
Yeah.
you got to put in the work. And that's another thing. Like, when I hit up the gym, I do a lot of resistance to like walk, if you're going to walk on the treadmill, put it on incline,
Yeah, put it on put like
and
that. You're running a
yeah.
13 like
Yeah.
stage 13 incline on it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, hey, Bethany, tell folks where they can go find out more about you and what you do and follow you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. Bethany Beathard is our abundant home. I kind of share a little bit about everything homesteading to hunting. I also have a website, Wild and Gathered, and you can find me on there, and YouTube and TikTok, LinkedIn. I'm on all of it. Bethany
Yep.
Beathard.
Go
Yeah.
check her out. She's going to be doing some stuff for Gun Talk, which I'm super excited about. And hopefully we'll post on our site. I hope she's successful on this elk hunt coming up. But Bethany, thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Gun Talk hunters, you know the drill. You know exactly what to do. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.